Well, righty. How y'all doing? So let me mute these. Okay. So, um, I I was watching Big J's dissect and we call it, and I'm be making dinner. So just bear with me. But I was watching Big J's dissection of the conversation that the men was having with Robert F. Kennedy Jr. So for those of you that don't know, he is going to be um well he is an independent uh candidate running for president. So I saw the beef earlier today. It was a nice day. Rosemary, what the hell are you talking about? What beef? Anyway, um um so when I was watching BJ video, um BJ said that there was a conversation with the women. So I want to see what the women had to say. And this will be my first time looking at it, so y'all can look at it with me. Okay? So let's get started. Meanwhile, first of all, Brownsburg, click the link. Let's take care of you before I get started. All right. What beat? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Click the link, okay? But we have a problem. Hurry up. I don't got all day. We'll be there shortly. Move my orange peels to the side. Oh my lord. Oops, this gonna have to go in the garbage. I should have ate these quickly. Okay, so I guess Brunswick didn't have nothing to say. So we just gonna go ahead and ignore that. I don't know what the hell that is, and it look like he don't care to tell me what it is. So let's go ahead and watch this, see what's going on.
To be the president in 2024. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is an independent candidate for the president of the United States. As president, he will restore the middle class, unwind the war machine, unravel corporate capture and the chronic disease epidemic, secure the border, protect our wild places, improve the quality of the water we drink and the air that we breathe, heal the divide, fix our public education system, take care of our veterans. Can you guys give a hand?
Wait. Improve the quality of water we drink. How he gonna do that? I wanna know how he gonna do that. Maybe he'll talk about it. We'll see. And then he said, take care of the veterans. I would like to see them take care of the veterans because people that fight for us to live the way that we live in the United States pay a heavy price going over there to defend our freedoms. And to see them begging in front of stores and homeless and crazy, that's not okay. I don't know how anybody could see that and be okay with it. But let's continue.
For that, take care of our veterans, support the trade, make homes affordable again, especially here in Atlanta. Lord Jesus, make homes affordable again, support regenerative farming, among other key priorities. Please put your hands together for our independent presidential candidate for the United States, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. So what we wanted to do tonight, as you guys know, this is a conversation for Black women. And so each of these women here today.
Okay, so he said, so, okay, they said it was a conversation for black women. So we already heard what the black men had to say. They said quality of life. That's how they started out with quality of life. And then child support ended up being the biggest issue for them. Okay. At least to that particular demographic of men that he was talking to. So I'm interested. I didn't know that there was a conversation with the women as well. Everybody was just going in because them men decided they wanted to talk about child support. But when I was watching Big J, and for those of you that want to go watch this on your own, the channel is Blacks for Kennedy. That's the name of the channel. Okay, let me see if I can. Guess I gotta do it like that. And let's put it in theater mode. Okay. Yeah, Blacks for Kennedy is the name of the channel. So let me go ahead and click the like button, get him a sub. All right. Oh, I'm interested. Let's see what they over here talking about. All right. Now, one thing I can say is when I watched the men talk to him, I ain't like this great detailed explanation he was giving as to like trying to explain how he understood the black plight in America. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, what is you doing? Speaking spells over niggas? What is you doing? Stop it. But that might just be me. Let's see what was going on. Let's go.
Tonight is going to have a
Hey, April
topic that is
Shower.
dear to
They
them
are
and their
April here.
community that we feel is a part of what all of
Hey,
us
y'all.
have questions of. All of us want to know what a potential presidential candidate can bring to our community. Amen. We all want to know what is going to happen. So we've asked each of these ladies to prepare a question from their standpoint on what they would like to see from Mr. Kennedy. So we're going to start with Angel McCautry. How y'all doing out there? Make some noise. So I'm excited to be here because I have a lot of questions, but I'm gonna ask my one main question. I did write it down. And in politics, we're seeing a lot of the gender issues in sports. So particularly, if you're elected the president of the United States, what would you do about the transgender equality in sports, especially on the women's side?
Okay, so I feel like this is a good question. Okay, I think this is a real good question. If anybody that want to know what I'm cooking, we gonna have a meatloaf. Okay, I think. Hey, Josh, how you doing? Thanks for coming in. Let's go ahead and give you what you need.
Oh, thank you. What? We got a super chat, super sticker, super something.
Thank you, Josh. You always support via the Cash App. Okay. Thanks for dropping a like on both the channels. Actually, I'm on about 8 channels and a Facebook. Okay. So we on all the channels. Okay. So, because I feel like this is important, I didn't even know that the women had a conversation. You know what I'm saying? Everybody was talking about these men in child support. Everybody ain't on child support. Okay. So that's great. Good conversation for the relationship. Gender born people, not a good conversation for me. So I want to see what they talking about. Gender in sports. Yes, sir. Did I what? But what the hell is you talking about? Okay, well, go back to sleep. Teenagers. Anyway, oh yeah, I'm over there at CP channel. We at CP channel, May channel, the Hoodoo channel, the Homemakers channel, the Facebook. For me, I didn't put the Facebook on I didn't put the Hoodoo channel on the. I didn't put the Hoodoo on the Facebook channel, and I didn't do it on Instagram. But okay, but we on all the 2 channels. So gender in sports. I feel like that was a good question because I don't think. Look, I don't care how much hormones you take and all of that. Biologically, you are still male. I don't care what you feel. All of that. You want to run around, take pills to change the way your body appears and all that. Your DNA is your DNA. It does not change. You are still biologically a male. You have no business competing with women. Seeing these women come up with some of the most horrendous injuries in these sports because they stupid enough to think that they can sit up there and fight a man. Know what the hell wrong with you? That's a whole man. I don't care how many hormones he take, that's still a man. And it's a problem when you have young girls that have trained their whole life through school coming up and then they get to a certain level and try to go professional. to have a transgender uh woman, and y'all, I get confused with this stuff because when I grew up, we only had male and female, boy and girl, man and woman. That's all we had. We didn't have all this other stuff. So y'all got to forgive me if I mess up the terminology because this is strange to me. But anyway, to have a young girl that trained very hard only to have her stuff taken by somebody that is biologically uh stronger, faster than she is, that's unfair. So I would like to hear what his answer is. Y'all want to hear what his answer is? And please, if you got a brain and you can think, I'd like your comments in the chat.
Good question.
I don't think somebody who is born a biological male should be. Can you hear me? Okay. I don't think somebody who is born a biological male should be competing in consequential women's sports. Oh, if it's an in-house league or something like that, then it's all. But if it's a competition where there are scholarships at stake, where people are on career paths or career trajectories, it's not fair. My uncle Ted Kennedy was the author of Title IX. He fought for years to make sure that women's sports were available in colleges, that they were given equal attention as male sports. And he wanted to give female athletes a chance to compete. I have right now a niece who is going to Boston College, who is on a softball scholarship. And her twin works for my campaign, Jackson, who is Cheryl Hines' niece and nephew, and they're twins. And when she was growing up, when I would take her brother Jackson on all of our ski trips and take her to Cape Cod during the summer, she never came with us because she was practicing her sport, because she was planning that career. And to me, it would be very, very unfair to her if a boy walks off a neighboring baseball field and comes onto her field and says, I'm now going to compete against you. I don't think that's right. I don't think that's what we intended.
It's not right.
At the same time, I want to say this. We all should have compassion for people who have gender dysphoria, and we need to respect people's choices, and we need to support people, and we need to end any kind of bullying. But there's also common sense that says, a male who's born male and who has these biological advantages should not be able to compete in female sports.
Okay, so I like that answer.
We appreciate.
I like that answer. I think that was a cool answer. What y'all think about what he had to say? And keep kitchen and more. Well, I got the wackest audience in the world. Y'all mean to tell me y'all don't got no opinions about what this man just said? Y'all ain't got no opinion. I got nothing to say. I'm gonna turn my chat off. That's what I'm gonna do. Since everybody just want to watch, don't nobody want to type. I'm gonna just turn the chat off, and then I ain't got to worry about looking for nobody comments. Cause I know y'all got opinions, thoughts, and all of that type of stuff. But if y'all ain't gonna talk, y'all just want to watch, goddamn it, I'll just turn the chat off, and we just gonna be a whole show. So anyway, I thought he gave a great answer because, like I said, biology matters. Okay, I don't care how many pills you take. I remember it was one transgender guy. I can't remember what his name was, what he was saying, or any of that. And he 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 said because he go through so many changes, taking hormones and all this stuff, that he weaker than the average woman. I was like, bro, what is you? The absolute foolishness. You know what I'm saying? And if they're hell bent on being able to compete in women's sports, then you know what? They should start running tests on biology between a transgender male and transgender woman and a biological woman. Okay, a natural woman. All right. They need to start doing that and see what them numbers look like, so these folks can sit up here and stop gaslighting us and telling us lies. Because quite honestly, quite frankly, in my personal opinion, and this is just my personal opinion is men that decide that they need to compete against women don't cut it amongst the men. And so they decide that they want to compete against women. That's just my personal opinion. If you don't agree, click the link. We can talk about it. But that's just my personal opinion. And I don't think that it's fair for uh anybody that's not a biological woman to be competing against women.
Speak with candor about the fact that we're not, it's not anything against anyone's gender or their how they see themselves, but it is really about the fact that as a female that's working hard, you should have the opportunity to compete against other women that are of the same DNA makeup. So I appreciate that honest and candid answer. Can you guys agree with that? Okay, because that is something that especially, people in our communities, especially mothers, are concerned about what's going on in schools, and that is definitely something that we have to talk about. Moving on to Angela Stanton King, I know you have a passion that we've all been a part of with the Black maternal health crisis. So coming to you, what is your question for Robert F. Kennedy Jr.?
Really quickly though, I just wanted to thank Angel for coming, guys. Angel has to go to a meet and greet over with the Atlanta Hawks, right? So we're so grateful for you coming, Angel. Thanks for stopping by. We love you guys. Give Angel a round of applause.
Too late.
Want to get the chair? If you guys want to move down a little bit, you can get the chair.
So this is what I don't like about that particular show, and this shout out to Professor Lovely Lady in the building. Thank you.
What's up, boo? Blowing money powder on you. Thank you.
Thank you for coming in. I appreciate you. If you don't got a Professor Lovely Lady in your chat, you're tripping. It's the best moderator on YouTube. Thanks for coming in. I appreciate it. So, let's see. Okay, so on the male end, they had chapters on their video, so I could go to what I needed to go to. They don't have chapters on this one, and I did not sit around here and take timestamp notes. And I'm trying to cook, so we just gonna have to go through it as it come along. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully, I don't get no copyright for this, but we'll see.
Okay, the Black maternal health crisis. Oh gosh, wow. You guys know, me and Mr. Kennedy are on kind of two different sides, but we're in the middle because I'm pro-life and he's pro-choice. And a lot of people have asked me, how can you, Angela, as strong as you are on your pro-life stance, work with a candidate that happens to be pro-choice? And I said, well, you know what? Choosing to keep the baby is also a choice, right? And so if we're doing so much in the government about resources and providing it for women who choose to terminate, then where is the help for the women who choose to keep the babies? And my question for Mr. Kennedy is this here. We have a Black maternal health crisis, so they say, where we are watching Black women who we know our grandmothers gave birth to 10 and 12 kids at home, not in a hospital. And now all of a sudden, we've gone from giving birth to 10 to 12 children at home to dying on the table from having one to Octomom popping 8 babies out at a time. So we have a Black maternal health crisis, and they're providing abortion as a solution. And we know that more Black babies are aborted than are being born.
Okay.
So that tells me that.
Hold on. What the hell is she sitting up here talking about? Anybody know what Angela's talking about? What is she talking about? Now, I do agree with the maternal birth rate, right? Because, look, I got my horror stories about having babies. And, look, my great-grandmama had 9 babies. My grandmother had 5. I struggled to get the 2 that I had. And I almost lost my life. So let's talk about that. I don't know about these more Black babies being aborted and being born and all this other weird stuff she's sitting up here talking about. I am pro-choice. If y'all care to share that, share it. We can talk about that too. I'm pro-choice because being a parent, okay, and this is why part of me feel like men should be able to have a financial abortion in the same time that a woman can have an abortion. Same time frame, just a legal situation rather than a physical one. Because being a parent is a lot of work, and nobody should be forced to be a parent because they was out here doing stupid stuff. Now I also feel like, and then then I start getting into slippery slopes and things. Cause I feel like if you won't keep having abortion, they should sterilize you. Because if you can't got no personal responsibility for your own genitals, male and female, then you need to not have the ability to procreate. They can't necessarily stop you from screwing, but we can't stop you from procreating. You know what I'm talking about? So there is that. But I don't know what the hell Angela is over here talking about. Okay. She said, I cannot believe you got struck with hate speech and limited monetization. This YouTube mess is really getting I'm trying to tell you. I'm trying to tell you, they pick and choose the content creators that can do and say certain things. So we gonna see uh what they do with this stream, right? Because they have not monetized any of my streams, any of them. So if I'm not getting super chats or cash apps, I'm not getting paid for doing live streams. It's that simple. They're not paying me. Yes, they're getting their advertiser money because my monetization is on. So what is happening is they're forcing y'all to watch the ads. They're getting the money, but they limit my monetization so they don't have to pay me my AdSense. So that's what's happening to me right now. Okay. Yes, it really is BS, but it's all right. It's fine. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna just keep doing what I'm doing and pray a little harder. All right. So yeah. So let's see if I can get through. See if Angela start making sense at any point.
The black mother is dying on the table. The black baby is dying in the womb. What are you willing to do as president of the United States to make sure that we have better health in place to help black women, and then to also reduce this depopulation rate that we're seeing, and to provide resources for women who choose to keep their babies?
Yeah. I mean,
Oh, I'm sorry.
thank you, Angela, and thank you for your advocacy on this issue and for your friendship. As Angela said, my orientation, I've been one of the leading fighters in this country for medical autonomy, for medical freedom. I don't think the government, my posture is the government should not be telling people what to do with their bodies. But at the same time, I come from a family that is divided between pro-choice and pro-life. My closest mentor in my family was Eunice Shriver, who was very, very much pro-life. I think we all ought to be able to have this conversation and treat each other with respect. And that is the relationship that Angela and I have. And I also feel like that, and what I've said to Angela and what I've learned from her, 85% of the abortions that take place in this country are among black women. And the
Why are they telling lies?
Planned Parenthood facilities.
That is a lie. That is not true. I don't know where they got it from, where they getting them stats from. That is not true. Black women are not the demographic that has the most abortions. You know where this lie came from, why this lie exists. White women is middle class and upper middle class white women is the demographic of people that have the most abortion in this country. I don't know why that jacket is being put on black women, but that is a hot ass mess, and I wish they stop it.
Most often cited in black neighborhoods. And for a lot of these young black mothers, the difficult choice to have an abortion is driven by economic indicators, by economic strictures, by the difficulty of raising a child. Today, childcare costs on average about 37% of a mother's income. And we should not be in a situation in this country where any mother is aborting a child because they believe they can't afford that baby.
Look, uh, child care is expensive. Okay, you're paying like $300 a week if you got a newborn. You know, they don't include like diapers and all the other stuff that come with that baby. You know, so. Mm, but as far as the abortion goes, you talking about a demographic of people who don't have even $100 liquid access in a household in America on any given day. Okay, now somebody done accidentally came up pregnant, and we can use accidentally as a loose term. Okay, we can accidentally is loose. All right, because you are an adult or you old enough to know that you need to be responsible with your sexual organs. But anyway, you accidentally come up pregnant. If you ain't got $100 liquid, how you gonna afford abortion? Abortion is hundreds into the thousands of dollars a have, depending on how far along and how complicated your situation is. So most of these people can't even have these abortions because they don't have the financial means to get to the abortion. So I don't know why they be telling these lies. Like, where is your data? But not being able to afford the baby, I mean, that's a real situation, but I mean, I think it's very nuanced. I think it goes beyond personal responsibility, you know what I'm saying? Because there are financial disparities with black people in this country due to the history of America. And what I'm interested in, I would really like to see if anybody gonna bring up the conversation about reparations. I want to see if that come on to the table because I think a lot of stuff that we see as far as black folk and their disparity in this country in relation to everybody else in the country really has to do with the social economic conditioning that, you know, was caused by the history of this damn country. And I think a lot of this will fix itself. If we had the means to build our own hospitals and things of that nature, we could treat ourselves in the way that we treat ourselves. Okay? Because just like the APA a couple of years ago said, oh, we apologize because we didn't take the unique conditions of the African American um, condition into mind when we created our framework for mental health in America. You know, how much of our medical health has been neglected in this country because of those things. And if we was able to take care of ourselves, because we know we had big mamas and great aunties and all these different people that told us certain things, gave us certain remedies for how to take care of ourselves. And guess what? They was healthy. They birthed babies. A lot of them. I mean, we did lose people in childbirth, but we didn't have a whole lot of people dying in childbirth. You know. So I mean, I just wonder if anybody gonna bring up the conversation. Let me check the chat. Okay. Oh wow. All right. Okay. Thank you, Josh. I appreciate it. That there are plenty of resources available. Culture on my eyes. Josh, culture in the building. What's up, culture? Thank you for coming. I appreciate it.
What's up, boo? We blowing money powder on you. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, culture. We love when the members come through. Thank you for being here. Okay, Key Kitchen, what she say? She said, I don't believe in accidentally coming up pregnant. If you're not protecting yourself, you know what can happen. So if you can't afford to take care of that baby, you should protect yourself. And I agree with you. You know, oops, babies, run, snap, have a God. Thanks for coming in. Good to see you. Yeah, if you can't take care of that baby, You ain't got no business sitting up here taking sperm, ma'am. There's too much contraception for that. But they don't let dudes off the hook. Dude, don't give nobody your sperm. You know what your sperm's supposed to do. It's supposed to impregnate an egg. That's what it's supposed to do. So if you don't want to do that, then keep it to yourself. You know, people out here tripping. Culture said per capita, per population, per race, maybe. But there are literally more pink people. So I'm damn confused and in need of maths professor or something. Look, there is plenty of data out there that will debunk that particular statement. There's plenty of data out here. I'm just tired of them saying it. Somebody put a billboard up some years back that said the most dangerous place for a baby is in the womb of a black woman. And ever since then, this narrative being spun, and it's just like it don't even make logical sense. Can we start with common sense? You know what I'm saying? Can we do that? Professor's lovely lady agreeing with Key said being ignorant and not making a good choice is not social economic. No, I'm not saying that it is social economic. I'm saying that when we talking about infant mortality rates, when we talking about women not being able to birth babies, there was absolutely no reason at all. My first pregnancy, okay, that pregnancy resulted in a stillbirth. There was absolutely no reason at all for that to have happened if I was given proper medical care. Okay, my doctor didn't even see me. That's what I'm talking about. When you got federal organizations that's overseeing different parts of mental health, physical health, social things in this country, and you see a population of people whose conditions inside of these things are being neglected, that is social economical, and those disparities need to be made even. Okay, that's what I'm saying. Say facts. Good man. All right, so let's go and see. Oh, wait, we have a new person in here. Stephen Wright, what's going on? Thanks for coming in. All right, good to see you. Let's continue.
And we ought to be putting the same amount of resources into making sure nobody has to make that choice as we're putting into Planned Parenthood. And that is what I will try to do as president. My view is that we need.
Okay, so I gotta stop it again. Let's talk Planned Parenthood. Planned Parenthood don't do just abortions. You know what I'm saying? And that's what's ignorant. You can take your low income ass, ain't got no insurance ass over to Planned Parenthood and get your physical exam that you need every year, every 3 years, every 7 years. I forget what the recommendation is now because it done changed so much within the past 10 years. But you can go get your woman exams over there. You can go over there and get birth control. Okay. So you don't have to end up in a situation to find a clinic where you need an abortion. All Planned Parenthood clinics do not provide abortion. Okay. Like people just, oh, they do it there and they don't ran with it. Planned Parenthood is just what it says. Planned Parenthood. Okay? If you don't want no babies, you can go in there and be like, "You, I need a decent form of birth control." They do a whole lot in Planned Parenthood. You got a whole lot of people that don't know nothing about nothing, running their mouths about conversations, and it's really ignorant. You're talking about defunding Planned Parenthood, get rid of Planned Parenthood. That's gonna put a whole lot of women that using Planned Parenthood to get their birth control. It's gonna put them in situations where they end up with these babies that they can't take care of. Just wanted to put that out there.
On the ultimate choice to have an abortion, every abortion is a tragedy, but the ultimate choice should not be with the government. We have to ultimately, it's never a good choice, it's never an easy issue, but ultimately we have to trust the mother in her consultations with her pastor, her doctors, but she has to make her own choice.
I think that's fair, and I think that that's what I'm fighting for, to make sure that our women, Black women, have the access to the health care that they need, and that they are putting just as many resources into the women that want to keep their babies as they are.
Can I say, I just want to say one other thing about the issue that Angela raised, which is the maternal health crisis among Black women. A, a black mother is 3 times more likely to die in childbirth than a white woman. A black mother with a college education is 2 times more likely to die during childbirth as a white woman who is a high school dropout. Something is happening, and it's happening, it's impacting the Black community. And part of it is the medical system that we have, that is a corporate system where all of these community hospitals, particularly in Black neighborhoods, were closed down. And during COVID, for example, we saw that the highest.
Okay, so I don't agree with him about the community hospitals being closed down. I mean, I do think that that is a problem. However, these people do not treat us properly. Period. We do not get treated right. We don't get treated like everybody else does. They really to me when I had my daughter, I had her by cesarean, and it was a scheduled cesarean. Let me pull this up so y'all can see me. It was a scheduled cesarean. Okay, and um, when they got ready to cut me open, they first of all, when they came in there, they told me that they was gonna give me the epidural in 3 different ways. They gonna pick one. The anesthesiologist is gonna pick his preferred method. Okay, and so when the dude came in to introduce himself as the anesthesiologist, I asked him which way he was gonna give me the epidural. And he looked at me all fucked up in the face, like, what? Like, I can't answer him no question. I said, which way are you giving me the epidural? Oh, I'm gonna do a spinal tap. Oh, okay. I just wanted to know what you was finna do to me, you know. So go ahead and get into the operating room. They prepping me for surgery. The surgeon's down there doing what they doing. The obstetrician, and then this anesthesiologist is up here doing what he do. The surgeon stuffed me in the bottom of my foot with, I don't know what he stuffed me with. It felt like 10,000 knives stuck me in my foot at the same time. I don't know what that was they stuck me with. And they was like, you can feel that? And I said, yes. He talking about what it feel like. What you mean? What it feel like? You feel like you just stabbed the shit out of me. So they continue to do what they do. Do you know they cut me open without verifying that that's I can feel them cutting me open. Okay. So after they get the surgery prep, they go out there and they get my husband. They bring my husband in and he looking at me. He said, are you okay? I said, no, I can feel everything. He turns around, he looks at the anesthesiologist and he said, she said she can feel it. That's when this bastard decided he was gonna do something to make sure I couldn't feel that. But when they first started opening me up to get my daughter out, I felt everything that they do. They don't treat us properly. They actually think we lying when we say we in pain. You know, it's ridiculous. When I was in the hospital this last time I was hospitalized, I had they didn't know what was wrong with me. I was in a lot of pain. You know, they would sit there and let me be in pain for hours before they would come give me my pain medicine. And then sometimes instead of giving me the medicine that I asked for, they would give me something lesser. Like I'm lying about my pain, just sitting up there and laying in pain. So talking about closing community hospitals and I no, there is an inherent systemic racist thing going on in this country. It has always been there, and that needs to be addressed. And when I say reparations, I'm talking about making a pathway for black folks to go in and become doctors so we can treat ourselves and not have to go into these institutions where they just gonna automatically look at us like we only saying we in pain because we want some dope. You know what I'm saying? Like bullshit, they don't give pain meds to no one. That's lies. Okay, that's a lie. Okay, white folks pull bags of all kind of prescription drugs. Okay, Okay, no, we ain't doing that. No, it ain't equal. We not finna sit up here and play like it's equal. There are things that are slated against black people in this country, and I'm not gonna be quiet about it and pretend like it's not there. It's there. There was no reason for me to go through these traumas in the damn hospital. Okay, this is crazy. Anyway, I see Knots in the building. What's up, Knots? How you doing?
What's up, boo? Blowing money powder on you. Thank you.
I love that beat, y'all. I love that beat. Okay. He said, some people do. I take care of old white folks. He said the other job of doctor and nurses is to make us feel comfortable. Man, look, it's crazy. It's crazy. So, like until people ready to have honest conversations, you know what I'm saying? Uh we not gonna we gonna get nowhere, right? So let's continue on, see what else he talking about.
This demographic, the death rate, the highest death rate we had in this country was among Black Americans. Of Black Americans, we had the highest death rate in this country during COVID. We had 16% of the COVID deaths, and we only have 4.2% of the globe's population. So what happened? Whatever we did in this country was the wrong thing to do because we had the worst record of any country in the world. But Blacks suffered the worst. The death rate among Blacks in this country during COVID was on average 3,000 per million population. The death rate of Blacks in Haiti, the poorest country in the hemisphere, was 14 per million population. So 1/200th of what we had in this country. Why were American Blacks dying at 200 times the rate as Haitian Blacks? 200 times the rate of Nigerian Blacks, 10 times the rate of the average African. The death rate in Africa was about 320.
That's an easy question. That's not a hard question to answer. The reason why we are dying more than them is because we are not being treated in the way that we need to be treated. Like everybody want to run around with this idea, oh, we all the same. The skin tone don't matter. No, there is differences in our DNA and our genetic makeup. There are things that will keep you healthy that other people may not do. Even hypertension, right? Hypertension in most black people is different from the way it is in some other demographics of people. ACE inhibitors and beta blockers, two different reasons for blood pressure. Okay, these things they don't talk about. This is not a medical conversation. YouTube, please leave my video alone. I'm not giving anybody no medical advice. If medical advice, go to your doctor and talk to them. I'm just telling what I know from what I've had to deal with my own personal hypertension. Okay, that's it. There are traditional ways of healing exist for a reason. And if you look at traditional ways of healing, they are differences per culture because those people are different. You can't stick us in no hospital and just treat us any old kind of way and think you're gonna get a good result. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm saying. Have an honest conversation. You know what I'm talking about? Have an honest conversation. Hey, Simply Amira, good to see you. Thanks for coming in. Boba Fett girl, how you doing? Thanks for coming in. Good to see you. He said that becomes a black people get black sciences issue because the world is capitalist. It's evil, but like I'm starting to realize it. I mean, yeah, everything in results back to capitalism, but still, at the same time, look, everybody is not treated the same way. You know what I'm saying? And then we don't have real science that really looked at us specifically as a demographic of people, right? Not that, okay, if we take our race, it's about the people who have money privilege, which just so happen to be people of a specific race. And that's due to the way this country was set up. And that's why I'm like, I want to see if anybody raised the question of reparations. Because I feel like it needs to happen.
COVID deaths per million population. We had over 3,000 in the Black community. Somebody needs to explain why that happened. And I think part of the explanation is chronic disease. A chronic disease epidemic is hurting Blacks more than anybody. You look at diabetes, if you're Black, you're 3 times more likely to have it. You look at asthma. When I was a kid, my brother had asthma. He was told by his doctor that asthma there'd never be a cure for asthma because it was so rare that nobody would ever study it. Today, 1 out of every Black children in this country has asthma. And diabetes, asthma, rheumatoid arthritis, all these autoimmune diseases, disproportionately obesity, disproportionately affect the Black population. The CDC said that the average person, American, who died from COVID had 3.8 chronic diseases. So they had diabetes, they had asthma, they had obesity, and 1 other thing. And that's the average. And those chronic diseases impact the Black community because Black neighborhoods are food deserts. They're getting the worst food. The toxic waste dumps are in those. The worst medical care is in those communities, and particularly during COVID. Virtually everybody who died from COVID in this country died in a hospital. And the hospitals were actually being incentivized by huge payments for every patient that died. And something happened because we closed all the hospitals in Black communities. The hospitals that are out there are run by big corporations, and the families could not visit. So that patient was out of sight of their.
Now, that is true. When I got in the hospital, I went to the hospital during COVID. I couldn't see my children. I was in the hospital for almost a month. I couldn't see my children. They wasn't allowed to visit. You know what I'm saying? They was not allowed to come in the hospital. I got to see my husband. I think they put a restriction on him. Did they put a restriction on how many times you come to the hospital? Hey, did they put a restriction on you for how many times you come to the hospital when I was in the hospital? Or you come as much as you wanted? When I was in the high blood pressure and the diagnosis of the autoimmune during COVID. Time restriction. Okay, got it. So he can only come certain times a day, and I think he can only stay for like an hour. So yeah, like, and then when you sick, people coming in to visit you is important. Now they say they was doing all this in attempts to keep other people from getting ill, whatever. Not letting people see their loved ones is crazy. All right, so I'll check the comments next time I stop the video.
Family. And whatever was happening, they knew the family would never know about. And that was another big problem during COVID that we need to look at and understand as we try to explain to people why we had this extraordinary disparity.
Please give us a hand clap for that. I think that this is a prime example of why conversations like this are needed. Because you look at the pro-choice, pro-life conversation, people get so caught up in fighting for either or, they don't listen to the reasons why. And so when you hear that 85% of abortions are in the African American community, then you have to ask the question, why? Why are the numbers so disproportionate? And it's not about which side you pick. I love the fact that we have to be able to work together in order to have change for the community. But the most important thing is education. So I think everybody here has put their foot forward in doing the right thing and getting the information. If
if you get caught up in what you see on social media and are not being a part of conversations like this, where you can actually hear, do your own research, and figure out why one side is trying so hard to get you to fight for something that you have no idea why you're fighting for it. So I just want to again give a hand clap specifically to Angela because of the work that they're doing with Auntie Angie's House. And actually, that is the definition of choice. If I can't afford to take care of my baby, I don't have a choice. But if I'm put in a better economic situation, then I do have a choice. And I had the privilege of speaking with Mr. Kennedy backstage about the importance of economics in our community. That is the biggest, that is the biggest issue that most of this is about, is the economics, right? So with that being said, I got to come to my good sis here on my right. Alexia, I know, is an advocate for small business owners and for business, right? When we met over about 2 years ago, we talked about business. As a small business owner, a lot of us don't have that leg up. We don't have a family member that can show us how to go to a bank and fill out a business loan and know how that works. We don't understand how to leverage business credit for us. And so really one of the biggest things is we sit in Atlanta where so many people think this city is full of opportunity, and it is. It's full of Black entrepreneurs. It's full of Black thought leaders and experts and influencers. But so many of us, our businesses are struggling, or at least they're not where they could be if we had, the support behind us, and specifically the support when it comes to banks and other things. So Alexia is going to talk to Mr. Kennedy a little bit about economics.
How you doing?
Good.
How y'all doing? Mr. Kennedy, so I'm talking about Black business empowerment. In December, you were here and you spoke on how Congress wouldn't pass reparations. You also spoke about a program that you have, Target Business Marketing Repair. Target Community Repair, I'm sorry. So my question to you is, can you explain to the audience and myself on how Target Community Repair would be a better option for our Black community instead of reparations?
I mean, thank you for the question. What I said about reparations, the recent Supreme Court decision in the Harvard case by Judge Roberts virtually declares that any payment that is race-based is unconstitutional. Oh, there's a chance that you could still argue, although I doubt it, in front of the Supreme Court. And I think there's a moral case for reparations, but in the legal, I think
Okay, we got the policy because somebody answered what I was looking for. I was wondering if the reparations question came up. So he said targeted community-based repair, targeted community repair. I can't wait to hear what he say that is, but let me stop, check y'all comments. All right, so we got Liz in the building. What's up, Liz B? Good to see you. Who dropped that link? Liz dropped her link. Y'all make sure y'all check her out. You know what I'm saying? Click the link. Watch a short. Watch 2 shorts. Catch a video. Come back. Tell her what's up. Tell her what you saw. All right? Y'all check her out. Knots in here. Speaking of culture. All right? All right? Y'all was having a conversation about something. I see the ER. See, I hate this. Okay. She said, yep, they keep on the same floor and they were only allowed like one person a day. I wasn't even on that floor. So it was very girl, look, they was treating everybody like that. She said, Culture, I had old men crying in my arms doing because their wives was see, that's so sad. He said, Moses Pink, only one. If I don't have a child, it's a choice. Right. If I marry before I carry, it's a choice. It's always a choice. Okay? That if I take the finance course for free at the local library for free, it's a choice. Targeted repair. I mean, targeted repair is another, it's another way because, when you're dealing with the law, when you're dealing with legal, it's about the language. Okay? You have to have proper language. So I want to hear what his targeted repair plan is. And shout out to the women for asking the questions. Okay? So tomorrow I might roast these men. Okay, I might have to go ahead and roast them because that was improper.
the legal hurdles against them are insurmountable. and the legislative. You could theoretically do reparations that are lineage based. In other words, Jim Crow you cannot address. You might be able to address some deficiency that came from if you have a direct lineage to slavery. But you would need Congress, both houses of Congress and the President of the United States to support that legislation. And I think that's a heavy lift. What I've tried to do in my campaign is not tell people that I'm going to do something that can't be done, and or that I don't believe that I can do. Oh, I don't tell anybody that I'm going to promote reparations from the White House because I don't think that it's feasible. I do think there are things I've committed my life to economic empowerment in Black communities. My father in 1966 walked through one of the poorest neighborhoods in New York, which is Bedford-Stuyvesant. And I talked to Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn. So I talked to Crystal about this earlier. I told her this story that by all the indicia, I would judge urban poverty, and crime, and infant mortality, and low education achievement. All of those were present at Bed-Stuy, but there was something special that my father saw about Bed-Stuy, which was there was a pride in the community and a sense of community, and it came because there was a high degree of home ownership. Most of the communities in New York City that are minority communities.
Well, that's an interesting statement he just made as it pertains to home ownership. Hell, most Americans, not even just black folk, can't get no home right now. Y'all know I seen this little bitty house. This house was 1,400 square feet, 3 bedroom, 2 bed. That home was going for $400,000. $400,000 for 1,400 square feet of house and less than 1 acre of land. What is we talking about? Okay. Now, as far as the pride thing goes, the pride in the Black community, we can even call it that at this point, is very low. You know, I mean, I'm glad I did catch the tail end of when Black pride and excellence was the forefront of people's mind. Right now, I don't know what the hell going on with Black people as a whole. We have less and less unity, but we got we still got some of the same issues that we always had. I think it's like the burden has become so much that we just decided that it's, we can't get ahead working with each other, which we have. I think we take for granted the strides that we have made as a demographic of people in this country. And um we forget that, and somehow they decided that it's best for that we just turn on each other. I don't think that the American idea of individualism in its full capacity is something that is helpful for Black people. Everything that we have done as a unified group. Notice I said unified, not unanimous. Okay, we have always had our differences, but we was able to come together to fix a common goal and bond. And now it's like a lot of us are opposed to one another simply for the fact of being opposed to one another. And I find that problematic. But let's finish seeing what he got to say and what his targeted repair is.
Our absentee ownership. So people from outside those communities own the buildings and then rent them to people who live there. In Bed-Stuy, it was different. People actually own their homes. There was a Black community there since the Civil War. And my father noticed that the houses were painted. There were flower pots on the stoops. People were sitting out on their staircases. And there was a sense of community. It was a strong pride and a strong drive. And there was an entrepreneurial energy. And that the things that were the ingredients that were missing was, number one, access to capital. At the area was completely redlined. So you couldn't get a home improvement loan. You couldn't get a small business loan in that community. And when A community is starved of home improvement and business loans and home ownership loans. Crime replaces those. If you can't get capital into that community, you're going to have high crime. And that's what my father understood he was seeing. He wasn't seeing a lack of drive or entrepreneurial energy. He was seeing a deficit of capital. So he decided to devote his life to this community. And Arthur Schlesinger, who wrote the biography of my father, said that at the times when my father was not home with his 11 children at Hickory Hill, one place that he wanted to be was in Bed-Stuy. And we went there every year. We went there continuously. And when my father died, I took his place on the board, and I served 5 years. And what we did is we made capital available. We made an opportunity zones, we made empowerment zones. We got tax breaks for people, tax credits for people who invested in that community. We started microloan programs. And one of the most important things, because we're talking just now about accrued financial knowledge. My father recognized that if he wanted to start a business, he didn't know anything about business. If he wanted to start a business, he could call one of his friends from the Harvard Business School and say, how do you do this? But in that community, they did not have accrued business knowledge. So people didn't know how to do inventories. They didn't know how to do accounting. And all of these issues were just mysteries to them. What my father did is he organized the business leaders in New York City to commit one day a month or one day a week to Bed-Stuy and go there and work with local business leaders to teach them how to do these things. And I'm very proud of what happened in Bed-Stuy when my father walked those streets. All of the stores on Fulton Street and Atlantic Avenue were boarded up, virtually 100% of them. The closest grocery store was 75 blocks. It was 3 bus rides. So imagine that. If you're a mother with a toddler, and you have to go, if you want to go shopping, you got to take
I see
that.
what he's talking about. He's talking about stuff that still exists today. They be talking about food deserts. These ain't new problems. So he'll sit up here and, oh, it's because y'all loot y'all own this, that, and the third. These are things that have always existed. All right. Now, in my personal opinion, it's like we had the lesser of two evils. I say this is the price we pay uh for integration. Because if you go back and listen to some of these first person narratives and stories, and if you dig deep enough, you can find them here on YouTube. If you go back and you dig into these, uh, you will see these people that lived amongst mostly black folk. And they talked about how well their communities were. They discussed how well their communities were. And to integrate into American society was also to agree to have them um, stifle black growth. I feel like at the same time, the trade off for that is having things like the Tulsa massacre and all these other cities and towns that have been found underwater and all that type of stuff. You had to deal with that because, like I said, the country was built on an idea of black inferiority. And when you come to the realization that this inferiority is nothing but a myth or a lie, because we are hardworking people, regardless to the rhetoric that we hear on this internet all day, every day, black folks is far from lazy. And when you see that collective energy and spirit comes together and get stuff done, we talking about a group of people that change a whole lot of laws in this country and still maintain their families and their jobs while doing it. We far from lazy. But when you see these things and these are things that people say and this is what put out about us, it kind of can take a toll on you. So I mean, uh hear him saying the things, but I want to know what this targeted plan is. Can you get on with it, sir?
Toddler on 3 bus rides, and then you got to carry your groceries back in the sack with that baby for 3 different bus stops. That's what, poverty empowers more poverty. And that's what was happening. We moved a grocery store, a Pathmark, into the neighborhood, and it changed the character of the neighborhood. Made capital available. My father pressured the banks to end the redlining. And you saw commerce explode in that community. So today, every one of those stores is occupied. There's an entrepreneurial energy in that community, and it's beautiful. And it's become the model now for 2,000 community development corporations around this country. And that's what I want to do. One of the things that I said to Crystal is that, a lot of the kind of liberal ideology today is we've got to end racism. And we're going to do that by canceling people, or going to do it by re-educating, and all of those things are, maybe noble endeavors. But you will never end racism. Racism is hardwired into our brains. From the 20,000 generations we were wandering the African savannah and in tribal groups making.
Well, I'm glad somebody finally said it. It is ingrained into this country. Now, I don't know what he's talking about ending it. I don't think you'll ever end racism. I think you can get to the point where you can stomp it out of most of the population, but I don't think it'll ever just go away. What up, Nadish? Thanks for coming in. Good to see you. Said, I know black folks who are sharks off the. Oh, yeah, man. And a lot of people took L's during that time. Josh said, what is up, night? It's all things jazzy. How you doing this evening? Culture said, relatives are as corrupt as lawyers these days. Josh speaking jazzy. Culture speaking to jazzy. Y'all can type queen, it'll drop y'all link. Y'all grab each other up. Professor Lovely Lady speaking to jazzy. Not said, sorry, y'all. I'm nosy as hell. Police across the street. Let us know what happened, not. He said it's a teeny tiny queen cooking stream. Geeky Girls Journal, what's going on? Thanks for coming in. All things jazzy, speaking to everybody. Geeky Girls Journal. Saying, wow. Culture said, Knott's the best gamer. How many? Did they kick in the door? Is there SWAT? Did they tase them? Are there helicopters? Oh, snap. We got a mini drama in the chat, y'all. Y'all pay attention to Knott's. He gonna give y'all the story. He gonna give y'all the tea while he look out his window. He said, I'm gonna tell Cat. He gonna wanna know. He said, I was about to say the same old stuff. Girl, type it in the chat, girl. Type it in the chat. He said, Coach, you said you got arrested. Coach said, I did not. Thank you, Key, for dropping your link, y'all. Key just dropped her link. Y'all make sure y'all grab her up. Grab her up. Go over there and watch her short. Because this is a long stream. We gonna be here. Okay? So go over there. Check out her shorts. Leave a comment. Check out a video. Leave a comment. Come on back. Let her know what's up. Geeky Girls Journal said, hey, Queen. Hey, Geeky Girl. Said, he's right about that. Culture said, racism and bias are human. Queen Culture just dropped his link. Y'all make sure y'all go over there. Once again, check out 2 shorts. Watch 1 video. Okay? Then you got to watch the whole video if they long videos, but at least go over there, watch the video, leave a comment. All right? It's called networking, y'all. All right, let's get back to it. See what this dude is talking about. Culture said, green bean jean sheen. I don't know what's going on. But y'all let me know when Knots come back in the chat because I want to know what kind of drama he had going on. Let's see what this man talking about. Part 2.
War on each other. It's part of who we are. What you do with to end the impacts of racism is you empower people. You give them confidence. And today, we have a school system that's broken in the Black communities, and we need to change that. We need to give charter schools and freedom of choice.
Oh, snapper, dabber, lapper. Hold on. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Baby, look. Earlier, when I watched the men's house, I said, They ain't saying nothing about infrastructure to fix the communities. They ain't say nothing about allocation of funds to the schools so the children can be properly educated. They ain't say none of these things. So, this okay. And so now he just brought it up. Okay, Geeky Girls Journal. He said, "What channel is this, Queen? Who is this man?" Okay, so Geeky Girls Journal. The name of the channel is Blacks for Kennedy. Here, let me get it. I'll drop the link in the chat. Okay, I'll drop the link in the chat. Let's go. YouTube. God dog it. Your videos. Oh crap. Not my videos, my history. All right. In the history. Okay. Yes, the name of the channel is Blacks for Kennedy. So let me share that. Share, copy link. Let's go over here to my channel. Let's get in the chat. Actually, let's put it in. Yeah, there I am. Drop here. I can grab. Hold on, baby. Uh, MESEN. Alrighty. Post comment. I said post comment. Boom. Link to channel we're reviewing. Alright. Alright. Okay, you girl. Dropped it in there. You got it. Like it only went to two. Oh, it's going. Alright. So did the channel is Kennedy. This is one of the Kennedy people. He's independent. He's an independent running for president. Okay, and so we're listening to the questions that um this panel of social media influencers. This is a panel of black women, and they having a conversation. So it's not clickable. What do you mean? It's not clickable? That's insane. Why is it not clickable? Hold on. That's crazy. You know, YouTube is doing stuff with the links again. Okay. Oh wow. Y'all, I don't even know because YouTube is doing things with the link. Oh, you can click. Okay. So, Culture, I think because you a moderator, you can drop the link. So, if you can drop it again for everybody else, and maybe they'll be able to click it. So, we got all things Jazzy. I'll share it right now. I'll share it. I'll just share it out. Okay. So, here, let me go back. There we go. Share. Okay. Actually, that ain't what I want to share. I want to share this. Okay. Share. Ah, it's better if I do it the other way. Okay. I'm gonna just share it to my community wall, okay? And y'all can go over there, check it out. Okay, so link to content we are reviewing now in the live. Okay, okay. So Geeky Girl. Oh yeah, I'm finna get back to it. I'm just taking a break to acknowledge my chat real quick, and since I'm here, might as well put a short out real quick. Okay. So hold on. Uh-oh. All right. So this is what we doing right now. We making dinner and we streaming. Okay. Don't I don't know. That's tripping. But anywho, y'all need to come over here. come click the like button. Y'all need to come over here, click the like button, get in this chat. The link is pinned if y'all want to come up here and express what you're looking at. We're looking at independent presidential candidate Robert Kennedy Jr. And he's telling us what his platform is about. So come on through, hang out. It's a good conversation. Peace. All right, let's go back.
New York City, there's a charter school called Success. It has 20,000 students. There's another 20,000 students trying to get in. It has a better record of college placement than the best public high school in New York in Scarsdale. It has a 99% graduation rate. And what they've proven is that good performance in school has nothing to do with culture. It has nothing to do with color. It has nothing to do with environment or economics. It's just whether you have a good school or a bad school. And we are not giving that to our children. Oh, what we need to do is to do two big things. We need to fix the educational system, which I'm going to do with charter school systems and freedom of choice. And we need to make capital available in those communities. We need to have, we only have 20 black-owned banks in this country, and they're all underfunded. And what we find is when those black banks have money, that they channel that money into, and they actually take higher risks than the white banks, but they have higher payoffs because they know the people in those communities. And we've closed most of the black banks in this country, and the ones that exist today are underfunded. We need credit organizations and black banks back in those communities so black communities can invest in them and that they can invest back in the black communities. And I'd say this, when I grew up at a time when there was tremendous bigotry against Roman Catholics. My uncle was the first Roman Catholic president. And during that time, the Ku Klux Klan was active. And all the time when I was a kid, I got called names because of my Catholicism. I got called a mackerel snatcher. I got called a Mick. I got called all kinds of names. But it never affected me because I had a good education. I had a family who loved me. I had opportunity. I knew that I was going to do something successful and good with my life. When somebody called me one of those names, I didn't think, oh, there must be something wrong with me. I thought there must be something wrong with that guy. That's what we want black kids to have, that attitude, so that they're resilient against racism. Because they're gonna
Okay, I kind of agree with that statement because, like, I think it's kind of ridiculous that black people, it seems like, are just programmed. If somebody call you the N word, now you got to go ahead and slide them across the street, the lane, like, for what? Especially now, I could see if we back in a time where most of us ain't never seen no kite. Okay, so we ain't even in them times no more, nowhere near them times. And I can understand, we still feel some of the pressure and the sting from it, but to have it affect you to the point you want to commit assault on somebody, I think it's high time we get past that because black people have made all kind of strides in this country, and despite all of the things, and I mean, really, when somebody call you the N word now, I mean, don't you really just think like, yo, what the hell wrong with them? It's kind of weird, at least in my experience, it's kind of weird. You know what I'm saying? It just kind of, to me, when I hear it, I'm like, what is wrong with you that you so insecure that you can't, you still stuck on some ignorance? So I agree with him when he said that. And I know when it comes to the topic of racial issues, interpersonal racial issues, that's a sensitive topic for a lot of black folk. And I get it. But I mean, I think it's time to elevate the conversation because we don't live in the same times that we live in no more. All right. Let me check the chat. Gas Mask, how you doing? Thanks for coming in. It's a new person. Thanks for coming in. All right. Oh, that's when I dropped the link. Uh-oh. Okay, there we go. Pure Butterfly in the building. What up, Pure Butterfly? Yeah, spring forward happened at 2 o'clock this morning at some people's time. Okay? Alright. Oh damn, what happened to everybody? Device better to see the chat room. What? That was the late 70s. Coach said Italians displaced their anger about whites, racism, and lynch black and clean. Oh wow. I know nothing about that. Now I went to a magnet school. You know what I'm saying? And I got a pretty good education. You know what I'm saying? It said this device better to see the chat room. I have no idea what you're saying. Okay, she said, right, sis, we do not live in the same. We don't. We don't. Now, just because we don't live in the same time, don't mean I'm going to sit up here and pretend like racism don't exist and systemic racism is still not a thing. We're not going to do that. But because we don't have the same struggles, right? We ain't got to sit in the back of no damn bus. Okay? We don't got to go in through the back of the restaurant. We ain't got to tell nobody I ain't gonna serve you because you ain't white. We don't go through none of that. So because we don't have those things, it's time to elevate how we interact with the rest of society. You know what I'm saying? What up, room shaker? All right. Professor Lovely Lady speaking the room shaker. All right, let's get back to what he talking about.
They're going to encounter racism, but we need to get them in a position where it doesn't impact them, where it bounces off of them, where they have a confidence enough in themselves that they're unaffected by it. And, we're all going to deal with hatred and disapproval and in our lives. And what we need to do with our kids is imbue them with a sense of confidence, a sense of that they can accomplish something, role models in their life who they say, oh, my dad runs a business, my dad runs a barbershop, he runs a bar, he runs a restaurant, he runs a yoga studio, he runs a bowling alley. I'm going to have prospects in my life, and I'm not going to let other people deter me. And that's what we want to do. That is, to me, the way that we deal with racism in the country, not by pretending we're going to end it, by making sure that all of our kids are protected against the impacts of it.
That was awesome. Now, first of all, let me just say one thing. I want to thank all of you for coming out tonight, but I know just like you guys, we appreciate Mr. Kennedy for coming to our community. Isn't that right? Now, there are a couple ladies in the back, Emma and Lynn. If you guys can raise your hand for me so everybody can see who Emma and Lynn is. Guys, we need your help. As you guys know, Kennedy is running as an independent president. This will be the first independent president ever in history. And we know
George
they're
Washington.
doing, oh, George Washington. That's right. Correct me. The first one to me in my lifetime. But we need to get Bobby on the ballot. So I know that they have asked you all to fill out a ballot access form. This is not a vote. This is just saying I want to see Mr. Kennedy's name on the ballot. So when I do decide to vote, if I want to vote between the lesser of two evils, I'm going to choose Mr. Kennedy, right? So can you guys please support me and make sure you fill out a ballot access form so I can continue to have these conversations and bring Mr. Kennedy to our communities. Thank you so much.
Oh, he's not even on the ballot.
I know what you
He's
just
not even on the
talked
ballot.
about is what a lot of us here we're here to hear. We're in the West Atlanta, which is right in the heart of the AUC Center with Clark, Morehouse, Spelman. Atlanta has a rich history of entrepreneurship and education. And so seeing what we've been able to do with so little, how many in here are entrepreneurs? Raise your hand if you're an entrepreneur.
Wow.
You see that? So this is what we've been able to do without the support. Imagine if we have someone like Mr. Kennedy in office and we can actually get some support. It's always amazing to me when you look around and you see what we have been able to do as a community without the help of, with 20 Black banks in the United States, and still there are thriving Black businesses specifically in the city. So we definitely appreciate your, again, candid response to, it's not necessarily, I need you to like me, I just need you to get out of my way. Get out of my way and make sure that I have access to capital so that I can make sure that my family has an opportunity to thrive and grow. So that's what it's about. So we appreciate that. A big part of poverty, we talk about poverty, you learn, growing up, I remember going to school and going to the University of Oklahoma and learning how there is just a direct correlation between poverty and
crime. You can't get away from it. You can't empower, you can't educate. If there's poverty, there's going to be crime. And so that brings me to our next panelist. The entire community, I'm not going to just say hip hop community, because we know that hip hop influences the community, period. Outside of the Black community, hip hop influences the world. And so when violence gets to the point where it is taking, and violence is wrong at any level, but when we see the way it is attacking our hip hop community, which is influencing the world, and people are actually realizing it's an issue. It's a bigger issue than people want to give it credit for. And with that said, I want to pass the mic to Tatiana Davenport.
Hey y'all, how y'all doing tonight? How you doing?
Thanks, Tatiana.
Right now, guns are not a leading cause of death in young people. And I'm very passionate with this because it took something from me. It took my 28-year-old son. Like a lot of other parents and people in the community have lost loved ones to senseless gun violence. And my question for you today is, because I feel that all young people deserve to live out their full potential that God created them to be without losing their lives to senseless gun violence. I lost my son to senseless gun violence, and the world watched with me. I want to honor his legacy by making a difference in the Black communities across America. As president, what will you do about the senseless gun violence sweeping this nation?
And thank you, Tatiana, and my condolences for the loss of your son.
All right. Gun violence. I guess that is a hot topic. Okay. Uh the hip hop is crazy. Okay. Uh the hip hop scene and what they put out and all of that is very violent, you know. Um but it ain't just hip hop. You know, we can't just lay the burden at the feet of hip hop, because when you look at some of these gun violence, especially these mass shootings, hip hop is not the catalyst for that. So gun violence is a problem, period, right? And so that's good. Thank you, Professor Lovely Lady. Culture said not to listen to even he's a third choice. Exactly. Coach said this is educational, even though he's not ideal. He said if he get on the ballot, you know, so far he might get my vote. Why not? I'm tired of Democratic versus Republican. So that's the problem. She don't care. I wouldn't necessarily say she don't care. And she's numb. I wouldn't say she's numb. I would say, um, water sniper, I'm making meatloaf, rice, and vegetables. I wouldn't say she don't care. I mean, losing a child is not an easy thing. You get through it how you get through it. And if you get through it and you still sane, oh, you doing a great thing. Because that's a hard loss. You know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't necessarily judge her and say that she don't care. Um, the fact that she even talking about it and saying that she want better, you know, signifies that she cares. You know, I've had the privilege of sitting around and being in the company of mothers who have lost their sons to gun violence despite doing everything that they could. Oh, I should move this so y'all can see it. I'm putting the topping on this Milo. Despite doing everything they could to keep their child from going down that particular path. And I mean, an individual is an individual. Okay, you can be the best parent. Now, that's not to take blame for parents that shitty and didn't do a good job, but you can be the best parent, and your child still decide that they want to be something other than what you reared them to be. You know, And I mean, I do think that society has a um, role to play in it, and we have to acknowledge it. So let's see what he's talking about when it comes to gun violence.
I lost my father to gun violence. I lost my uncle to gun violence. And then, the other scourge that is affecting this community and all of our communities is drug addiction and overdoses. I've lost a number of family members, including my brothers, to that, and two of my nieces during the COVID pandemic. So this is something that, I'm deeply concerned about, but I'm very, very curious, and I'm here, not to preach to people, but also to learn. And I would love to hear what you think that a political leader, what I should do as president, what would you do as president, and the gun violence?
Well, I went, spoke with the Senate, and we spoke with Kamala back in her chambers, and we were trying to come up with some type of solution. I know we may not ever be able to end gun violence, but I feel that I would turn my pain into passion. If anything that I would prevent another family or losing a loved one, I'm on board with solutions. In reference to, I would make stiffer gun laws so that people just can't have access to guns just floating around here. I would do mental health checks because a lot of
So the issue with what she said is criminals don't follow laws. So when you say stiffer gun laws, you are indeed impeding on people who need to protect themselves right to own a weapon, making it more difficult for them to own a weapon. Because if a criminal wants to get a weapon, a criminal is going to get a weapon, and nobody's going to stop them from getting that weapon. So stiffer gun laws don't stop gun violence. They stop citizens from being able to protect themselves. I don't agree with that. All right, let's keep going.
people who are losing their lives to gun violence, it's so like, it's not enough security, I feel, or preventive measures because people got mental illness and they clear that gun check and able to buy a gun, and then a number of them that, killing people never had a history of actual doing anything wrong, with the gun or any type of, but they find out later after that they had some type of mental.
Okay, so I can say this. I can say this. I appreciate the fact that when he don't have an answer to the question, he listens to what the folks have to say. I saw that when he talk to the men. I see that as he speaks to these women. So the fact that he would be able to listen to people and take ideas when he don't know the answer, I mean, that's kind of you because it's supposed to be a government by the people and for the people. But I don't know how much these previous presidents have listened to the people necessarily. You know what I'm saying? Okay, he said everything they could, but I get it. But I honestly need to see it for myself. Best parents are yet to be seen in these cases. Oh well, Now say I don't be understanding this short live. Whatever I was on before wasn't like this. Okay, so not if you don't like the way the screen look, then go to your notifications and open it that way and tell me if it worked. If it don't work, then go to my channel and try it that way. But mostly it's probably gonna be in your notifications that'll give you the regular screen. Okay. Now the short live format is for people that's using it on their phone and you kind of scroll through and watch people lives in this format. Okay. He said, we romanticize grief from bad parenting giving it pretty words to make folks feel better. He said, I tend to agree, Culture. Not said what's goody. He said it still looks like this. Okay, so if you went to your notifications and you clicked it and it still did that, then go to my channel and click it. When I was in the background before, the chat looked different. Okay, so like you got it, you got the you got to find your notification and click your notification and see here. Let me see. Let me see. Because I be having it too. I don't like the short format. Okay, I don't like it. So, all right, if you go into your notifications on YouTube and click it, the bell at the top, the bell at the top of the app, right, top, right. What are you talking about, bell? Not, I don't know what you talking about. Bell. Yeah, the notifications. Yeah, click on your notifications, find my live stream, and click on it, and it'll give you. It should take you to the regular chat format. Okay. Yeah, yeah. Click that bell. Find my stream, and then it should take you regular chat format. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and start the video back.
Issue. But I would make, like I say, stiffer gun laws where you would be responsible if someone like parents who are registered with a gun, not allow their kids to get to guns, to take them to school, to to do kill somebody at school. You know what I'm saying? So those are a couple of things that I mean, look into maybe how the guns are being sold, or just because there's a lot of illegal guns floating around here.
Okay, hold on.
Maybe
Okay, you said it's still like that. So let me see. If you did it from your notifications and it still showed up like that, then go to my channel and go in and see what it give you. Nope. If you go to my channel, it's gonna give you the long stream. So when you go in your notifications, you should be able to see it. You should be able to see it like this. Because if you just go to my channel and look at it, it's gonna look like that. You know, so you gotta. It should do it in your notifications. If it don't do it in your notifications, I apologize. I don't know what it's doing. But let's get back and hopefully she hurry up because she don't got no real solution.
make different laws or suggestions on how we can stop all of this, just circulating around like this. My son was innocently, he was innocently taken from me, and things. Well, there's a lot of other family members that lost people like that. I had to share. It's very private, and I had to share that with the whole world. They actually saw what went on. And so it's just like, very near and dear to me. So what I'm on board with whatever you suggest, and maybe we can come together and a lot of prayer and a lot of
Policy.
and come together and come up with some solutions. But I just gave you a couple of mine that I feel that would kind of help this, or this solution.
So, I don't, with the Second Amendment of the Constitution has now been given a very, very broad and expansive interpretation by the Supreme Court. And And I think it's difficult to regulate guns and pass constitutional muster, regulate the sale of guns. I think, the mental illness test, many states have that test, but it's not preventing the rise in gun violence. I think we have to address some of the root causes, which is poverty in these communities and the growth of gangs. There's one issue about gun violence that I've given a lot of thought to, which is the mass shootings, which we're seeing, these big school shootings where shooters come in and they kill large numbers of people who they didn't know, they have nothing to do with, and this is a new phenomenon. This never happened before. We've always had guns in this country. We've always had an abundance of guns. But suddenly we saw these mass shootings. And what I have said is that NIH needs to study what the cause of that is, because in all of human history, this never happened before, where individuals would walk into crowds of strangers they didn't know and start shooting people or start shooting kids. When I was a kid, there were gun clubs at our schools. Kids would come to school in the morning with their 22 rifles. Nobody blinked an eye. Nobody was shooting children. And one of the issues, we need to look at all of the causes for this. There's also other countries like Switzerland, which have comparable numbers of guns that we have. And Switzerland, the last mass shooting in Switzerland was 21 years ago. We have a mass shooting every 21 hours. Well, something is happening in this country that is unique. And one of the things that I think we need to look at is the proliferation of SSRI drugs, of psychiatric drugs, which those psychiatric drugs, those classes of benzos and SSRIs have a black box label on them. It says may cause suicidal and homicidal behavior. During the clinical trials of those drugs, they saw that kind of behavior. And we're now giving out 170 million prescriptions of SSRIs every year, 120 million of benzos, another 120 million of Adderall. And, are those having an impact on us? I'm not saying that I know they are. I'm saying, why aren't we studying that? One of the things that we don't know about when we look at these mass shooters, we don't know what kind of drugs they're on because the HIPAA law makes it illegal for anybody to tell. So it's never printed in the newspapers. But NIH could study that, but it won't do it. NIH has not done a single study on gun violence since 1996. The first big mass shooting we had was in Columbine. And in that mass shooting, the families of the victims sued the drug companies for Prozac. And they settled that suit. So this is not a new idea that I'm having. This is an idea that a lot of people are talking about, but officially it gets suppressed. Now, there's other issues too that should be studied. Are the video games affecting kids? So, our social media is the addiction to.
Now, the whole video game is causing people to have mass shootings or commit mass shootings. I don't agree with that. Do social media help promote certain ideas amongst people? Yes. Is it directly social media's fault? No. Just like them people that become radicalized and uh, terrorists from looking at social media content. It's not social media fault that people put out content of things they want to discuss, and you have an individual that wants to indoctrinate or program themselves to look at that sort of thing. That's not the fault of social media. Do I think that social media should put in parameters to monitor that type of activity and let it be known that perhaps this person might need to be watched? maybe, but then that opens up another issue of people and their privacy and their right to privacy. But I mean, what's privacy and what's safety, right? That's the question. You know, I happen to feel like if you ain't doing nothing that's breaking the law or putting people in danger, then who cares what anybody else sees if they not, you know, permitted to just throw your business out. You know, that's how I feel about it. I feel like why should you care that government monitors your activity if you're not doing anything illegal? If you're not looking like you finna do somebody that's gonna do the population harm. But I don't know, for some reason, the thought of people being able to see certain parts of us is very scary. Yet at the same time, people not being able to monitor certain things kind of, in a way, puts the population at risk because guns aren't going to go anywhere. Criminals are not going to all of a sudden start following laws. So, what then do you do? It would seem to me that monitoring folk would be the best course of action. Um, you know, but that's just me. I do understand that there are nuances that come with it because I did watch what's that Person of Interest? Okay, one of my favorite shows. But I'm just saying, maybe it's not that bad of an idea.
Social media, is that also atomizing and fragmentizing our society? Well, that needs to be studied. But NIH won't do those kind of studies because they don't want to interfere with the commercial ambitions of the telecom industry, of the pharmaceutical industry, of the chemical industry. And as president, I'm going to end that. And I'm going to say, we're going to find out, why is this happening now when it never happened? We always had guns. We always had guns. People never engaged in behavior like this. Shouldn't we be asking the question, why is this happening? Well, that's what I'm going to find out as president.
Again, that's the reason that we should be here.
Oh, my bad. I'm just sitting up here really, really, really talking to y'all. I said, so he didn't have no answers to the question. But he did say, as president, he was going to investigate to see if he can find a why. So, do y'all feel like that's an acceptable answer? I got another plate to fix, and then I'm gonna check the chat and see what y'all think about his answer to the question of gun violence. Did y'all think that was an acceptable answer? Him saying what he was gonna do to try to find out why? I can accept that because I think it's kind of crazy to expect somebody to have the answer to everything. And I mean, if he's saying that this is something that has never happened before, you know, then that means that's clearly saying that to him this is a new issue. And because it's a new issue, he wouldn't have the answer. So And then he asked what other people's thoughts on it were. So he said he would study it. So what do y'all think about that? Is that an acceptable answer? Do you think that that is a acceptable answer for somebody that wants to sit in the POTUS seat? Hmm. What do y'all think? And damn, that's dinner, baby. We got some Uncle Ben's rice. We got some mixed vegetables, and we have meatloaf. Yummy, yummy, yummy. Okay, and why is this thing keep beeping? Shut up. Okay, right there. Dinner is on the table. Okay, so let's see. Said muted queen, my bad, y'all. I didn't mean to mute y'all like that. I'm sorry. Okay, let's see. Go back up here and look at what y'all say. Okay, y'all thugs. Okay, he said local psychology for Huck last plan. He said, you really said that? He said, then he said, I already know. I did. Lay out video game. Nah. What happened with the police? Why is this thing won't shut up? Okay. Wow. Okay. There, I think it's a cognitive separation issue. Like it can't happen to me. It can happen to anybody. Okay. The excellent point, Professor Lovelace. Yeah, I flunked psych one my first year. After that, I got mad and got as far as psych 3. Oh, cool. Muted, 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 muted. My bad, y'all. He said, we're sad because we can't hear. I'm so sorry, y'all. I apologize. I apologize. I had screamed and I didn't want to scream in y'all ear because I was calling the children down to eat their dinner. Said Cat was sad. Josh couldn't hear. He said it was a great answer, better than a fake solution. The mic, okay, yes, it keeps beeping. I was like, why is this beeping like this? It's getting on my nerves. I finally figured it out. Like, why is it doing that? I figured it out. Okay, so next up, okay, that was his answer for gun violence. So I can accept it. I can accept it. Research is always a good thing. All right, let's see what the next question is.
Having conversations like this. My grandmother used to say the devil is in the details. And when you look at the stats, it's alarming, but it's like what is causing all this? You mentioned social media, and we know that it's a very different landscape. As a writer and a former publicist, I realized that the media is in a very different position than it was years ago. We talk about the fact that most of us get most of our information from social media, and we can be emotionally charged, and our support is thrown towards things that cause us to have a reaction that we see online. My girl Shay McCray has been one of those advocates and one of the voices in the media for almost a decade. And so I want you to talk to Mr. Kennedy about your concerns when it comes to censorship.
Thank you. So, like you said, being in the media for over 10 plus years, I always have a fear of expressing how I really feel about a topic, especially with the cancel culture on the rise. Okay. So with that being said, as a potential leader running as an independent candidate, how do you envision safeguarding freedom of expression in the digital age? And what specific policies would you advocate to protect individuals from unwarranted censorship while addressing concerns about misinformation?
That was a good one, Shay. Okay.
I would say a number of things about that. First of all, I was the first person who was censored by the Biden administration, and that's all. That story is documented in a federal court decision by Judge Doty that's now up to the Supreme Court, Missouri versus Biden. where the Judge Doty 155-page decision details that 37 hours after he took the oath of office, President Biden's White House was ordering the social media sites to remove my accounts. And the social media sites said, actually
wow.
pushed back. And they said, what he is putting on these sites is not misinformation. It's actually true. And the White House invented a new word called malinformation, which is information that is true, but nevertheless is inconvenient for government and the public needs to be protected from it. And Instagram removed my account with almost 1 million followers in obedience to the White House. So I have a number of things to say about this. One is, as President of the United States, my first day in office, I'm going to issue an executive order ordering all federal employees to not collude with social media or media sites in censoring political speech in this country. I'm going to pardon Julian Assange and Edward Snowden my first day in office as a civics lesson to the American public about the importance of free speech and about protecting whistleblowers rather than punishing and imprisoning them. Free speech, Hamilton and Madison and Adams said that they put freedom of expression in the First Amendment because all the other amendments, all the other rights that we enjoy are dependent on it. If a government has the capacity to silence its critics, it has license.
Okay, so I like him saying that um he don't agree with censorship, but what I would like to hear him say is what he's gonna do to hold people responsible for the stuff that they say, because a lot of this stuff that we see on social media is because there is no balance. A lot of people have radicalized views, and that's all they present. And if you have people that's consuming that all day, it can affect them mentally. So, like, I'm all for free speech, but I feel like people need to be accountable for the things that come out of their mouth. Just saying. Pure Butterfly said, I like how he receptive to input to correct national problem. Yeah, I like the fact that he listening to them too.
For any atrocity. We saw during COVID, and immediately the government started censoring our speech. And as soon as they realized that we were going to put up with it, that doctors who said, "Wait a minute, I have other treatments," or doctors who said, "My patient just got injured by your treatment," that the business closures are dangerous. 41% of Black-owned businesses that were shut during COVID will never reopen. We closed 3.3 million businesses with no due process, no just compensation, no scientific citation, just shut them down. And as I said, 41% of Black-owned businesses were never reopened. Many of those businesses had 3 generations of equity in them, 3 generations working to construct that business, which was a fulcrum, an anchor of the community. We just shut them down without any public hearings. And all of these other things, as soon as they realized we were going to put up with being silenced, they went after all the other rights in the Constitution. The other part of the First Amendment is freedom of worship. They shut down every church in this country for a year with no scientific citation, with no public hearings, no notice and comment rulemaking. And they went after the right to assembly. They ordered us to socially distance from each other. And 2 days ago, in closed hearings with the Senate and the House, Anthony Fauci admitted, this is in all the papers, you can go out and read it, that the social distancing, he didn't know where that came from. There was no science behind it. He said it just appeared one day. This is what he told the Senate. So they shut us all down. Then they went after jury trials. The 7th Amendment says this, that no American shall be denied the right of a trial before a jury of his peers in cases and controversies exceeding $25 in value. That's all it says. It doesn't say except when there's a pandemic. And by the way, the framers of the Constitution knew all about epidemics. There were two epidemics during the Revolutionary War, a malaria epidemic that decimated the armies of Virginia, a smallpox epidemic that decimated the army of New England at a time when they had conquered Quebec in Canada. They had conquered Montreal. And Benedict Arnold's army had to withdraw from Montreal because it was decimated by smallpox. Otherwise, Canada today would be part of the United States. Between the end of the Revolution and the ratification of the Bill of Rights, there were epidemics in every city that killed tens of thousands of people: smallpox, cholera, yellow fever. All the framers knew about it, but they did not put an exception for epidemics in the Constitution. They said the Constitution was written for hard times. It was written for inconvenient speech, not convenient speech. Either way, during the Civil War, the Confederates were sending agents provocateurs up into the northern city to stir up draft riots and telling, the Irish population who were being drafted to fight in the Civil War, you're being drafted to die for Black people in the South. And it was causing riots in the cities. President Lincoln knew who these people were. Everybody knew when they came in who they were. And President Lincoln was having them arrested and held. And the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, at that time, our nation was at risk. We lost 660,000 people during the Civil War. That's the equivalent of 7.2 million today. It was much worse than COVID. And our nation, we almost lost our country. The Chief Justice of the Supreme Court said you can't suspend the Constitution, even if everybody's going to die. If the country's going to die, you can't suspend it. It was written for hard times. And, they went after jury trials. They got rid of anybody who wanted to sue anybody who harmed them during the pandemic, who was COVID related. You couldn't do it anymore. They went after our property rights, the Fifth Amendment. They closed all these businesses without due process, without just compensation. They went after the Fourth Amendment prohibitions against warrantless searches and seizures with all this track and trace surveillance. So they basically obliterated the Constitution. Once they got rid of that freedom of speech, they could do anything they wanted, and they did it. And that's why freedom of speech is so important. What I think is that the way to deal with misinformation, this is what Judge Learned had said, which Judge Brandeis said. The remedy for bad information is more information. It's not government censorship. And we do have a problem with the internet because the algorithms polarize us. Information. If you're a Republican,
And that's what I was talking about. Somebody that's gonna sit there and binge watch. How you doing, Lauren? Good to see you. Thanks for coming in. Somebody that's gonna sit there and binge watch a certain type of content and allow it to shape their mind. That's an issue, right? And I feel like social media platforms should have safeguards for things of that nature. In a way, people feel like, oh, you trying to tell me what I can look at and what I can't look at. But if we got scientific data that says after a specific amount of time, this is when a certain thing becomes detrimental. You know what I'm saying? Or affects the mind in a certain way. Then that's just a safeguard that's gonna have to be, because the reason why we even have government in place is to protect the population. All right. And sometimes there are rules that you're not gonna like in order to maintain the population. But this is the society that we want and the society that we're creating, right? That's what we want, right? Because clearly we can't um govern ourselves, right? We can't govern ourselves. It's not something that we can do. Seems like, right? Just saying. Just saying, how you doing, Chop? Thanks for coming in. Oh, Chop is blue? Okay. No blessing for you. Alrighty. So, let me see. You see, Lauren speaking to Professor Lovely Lady said social media and the internet is not a right. I'm an IT bro, and I'll tell everyone that. Period. Carter 5 Consulting. He said, has anybody seen the Peso Boy? Who the hell is that? I don't even know who that is. Why do I have? I guess today was just the day for the trolls to come out. And oh, you know what? They might not even be my channel. They might have been over there on Maze. Okay, never mind. Alrighty. So let's see. I see nothing. Well, I can't find Professor Lovely Lady's thingamajig. So I'll wait till she drop another one. Internet has become a necessity for some, not all. I mean, I've worked on the internet. The internet's been great to me. But I do think people that are hell bent on misinforming folks, you got a lot of crazy people that are able to generate an audience and pull and fill people's head with a bunch of nonsense, which causes people to do radical things, right? So, hey, I still want to hear more. He said you fight misinformation with more information, and that's cool. But what do you do with somebody that's hell bent on continually putting out misinformation? Well, I ain't gonna even say putting out the misinformation. Their information is causing people to behave in a certain way. I feel like there should be some type of law against that. If you have a responsibility if you put a message out there. And if you see that people are reacting a certain way because of the message that you putting out there and the way that they're reacting is negative in nature, then you have a duty to fix that, I believe. So I don't know. We'll we'll see.
And you live next to a Democrat, you ask the same question of Google, your two houses are going to get two different answers. The answers that you get are answers that are going to reinforce your worldview because the algorithm knows that that is going to increase the length of time you spend on the site, and that's what it's trying to do. So we all are getting pushed into silos, and the polarization is dividing us more and more, and that is dangerous. I talked to Jack Dorsey, who is the founder of Twitter, about how do you solve that, and he said the way you solve it is by making the algorithms transparent. Right now, we don't know we're being manipulated. We're all being manipulated every day. And AI is going to make it 1,000 times worse. And Jack Dorsey said, the way you do that is you force them to publish the algorithm, and you can choose. You can choose if you want a Republican algorithm, you choose it. You want a Democratic, you choose it. If you want an algorithm that's going to send you every hip hop article, you choose it, but you're in charge of that choice, not the government and not the company. You know exactly how you're being manipulated. And Jack, I said to Jack Dorsey, that's brilliant. Why don't you offer that to Congress? And he said, I've testified 6 times in front of Congress, and every time I tell them the same thing. He said, it never goes anywhere. Oh, as president, I'm going to get it somewhere. Anyway.
That's so awesome because maybe 2 years ago they suspended my Twitter account at 1 million followers. So I don't know if you can tweet line and get mine back, or when you become president, make them give me mine back. I don't know. But guys, have you been enjoying RFK? Awesome. It is so important that he comes to our communities we hear directly from him, and censorship is the reason why you all need to be able to hear directly from him. I haven't taken the show over from Crystal. I'm getting ready to give it back to her, but I know that we're going to wrap up in a minute, and we need to do a couple of Q&A. Shout out to YG Urban Cafe. Mr. Kennedy, I don't know if you met my friend Julius. Julius and I are project babies. We grew up in this neighborhood. He is now the Dr. Sebi of the hood, so he's gone completely holistic. He made you some wonderful soup. That's his plant water. You see this? Yes, we're representing. We got the plant water. I'm going to give this back to Crystal. You guys get ready to ask your questions. But when you leave here, and I'm going to be here for a minute, do not leave without taking a Kennedy sign and putting it in your window at home. I need you to take Kennedy signs. I need you to take Kennedy stickers. I need you to see Emma and Lynn and all of their volunteers. Guys, help us out. Help us get Kennedy on the ballot. We need somebody that's not afraid to come to our community, hear from us, and advocate for our community.
Absolutely. You know, what he's that conversation of all these conversations are an entire panel by themselves. That censorship and everything that we see, I'm sure many of you have tried to share something and got that malinformation, and I had no idea that just meant inconvenient. But inconvenient for the government, or it's not quite the message that they want to be pushing out. But I love what you said about the remedy for misinformation is more information. And that's really what tonight is about. It's really what these type of conversations and community gatherings are about. And it's why it's so important for you guys to be here. So again, give yourselves a round of applause for being here and putting back into yourself so you can actually get this information, because this is not the conversation that a lot of our presidential candidates are going to be having. So we appreciate Mr. Kennedy coming to the west side of Atlanta and having this real conversation with us. As Angela said, we want to make sure that we can answer a few questions. I'm going to tell you guys, my publicist background is going to come out. We have three opportunities for 3 questions.
Well, Pure Butterfly, they are making it where you can sue if AI looks like or sounds like too much like you. Okay? Yeah. I like the TikTok argument. I look at it like this. If Chevy never existed, you wouldn't buy Ford. Chevy isn't a human right. Okay. And for the record, I like Subarus. That's hilarious. It said, for the record, I like Chevy Corvette only. Professor Love like I like Toyota, okay. Okay, look, I don't buy American.
Don't
I
come
know
up
that's
with
sad to say,
more
right?
come up with a statement, come up with a question. Come up with a question. Raise your hand, Shayla. Shayla is going, you're gonna find Shayla. You can right here. Shayla's gonna come right here. We have the time for 3 questions. So if you have a question about
Not
something
3
that
questions. Just
economic
3 questions, huh?
empowerment, mental health crisis, censorship, gender in sports. If you have a question about something that you heard in one of these questions from the panel, please raise your hand and make your way over to Shayla.
While we're waiting on that, can we have one of our babies here from Auntie Angie's house? Everybody, make sure. Shayla, are you ready?
Hello, my name is Ilunga. I'm very honored, Mr. Kennedy, that you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Mr. Kennedy, I'm very honored that you are here tonight with us. I really appreciate how vocal you were during COVID-19 and even before that about informed decision and medical autonomy and how courageous you were. So I just wanted to say that before my question. My question was, an influential and well-known political family and having been in politics for a long time, why are you running for president now?
That's a good question. I never intended to run for president. If I had, I would have lived my life very, very differently than I did. I made the decision to run for president because I saw that I felt like I was losing my country, and I felt like I was losing my political party. I was raised in the Democratic Party, and I felt like it was departing many of the values that I grew up in, that my father stood for, that my uncle stood for. that both political parties were becoming captured by corporations, that we had this corrupt merger of state and corporate power in Washington that had turned the agencies that are supposed to be serving us predatory against the American public. And I felt like I was in a unique position to end that because I've spent 40 years suing those agencies. I've sued almost every one of them. I've sued CDC, NIH, FDA, EPA. I just won a big case against the FCC in the Federal Court of Appeals for lying to the American public about the dangers of cell phone radiation. I'm engaged right now in litigation involving the DOT, Department of Transportation, because I represent 1,000 families in East Palestine, Ohio, whose lives were upended and destroyed in some cases by the Norfolk Southern spill. I've sued the Department of Agriculture, which was created to help family farmers and give us a wholesome food supply, and it does exactly the opposite. It destroys family farms, it's on the side of big agriculture, and it's giving us food that is poisonous and devoid of nutrition. A carrot, you have to eat 8 carrots today to get the same nutritional value as 1 carrot when I was a kid. And it's loaded
That's
with
crazy.
toxins, with atrazine, with neonicotinoid pesticides, with glyphosate. We're mass poisoning our population. You know, we have now a chronic disease epidemic.
Now, some of the stuff he say is interesting because it kind of borderlines on a lot of the conspiracy theories that people have about the United States, America, what have you, right? Now, um, the interesting thing is, I've also had the privilege of living outside of the United States. There's a lot of stuff that the United States put in their food that is illegal in other countries. There's a lot of food that we eat here that is not made the same way in other countries, or even if it's allowed. Okay, so it's clearly something going on with our food. That's for sure. Okay, and then all the added chemicals and things of that nature. Who knows? But I know that you know he not lying about that. I mean, even with me, I notice it is extremely difficult to lose weight, and it shouldn't be that way. You shouldn't have to put yourself on no damn starvation diet in order to lose no weight. You should be able to eat a balanced meal. Okay, y'all watch me cook. Most of our meals are fairly balanced. Even that, y'all see, I eat on a salsa, and I'm still fat. Okay, so it something's going on with the food. We got little girls is got C cup breast, before they even get to junior high school, So I mean something's going on with the food, and that's kind of why I mean I would like to see him on the ballot. I really would, because to see somebody that decide, I'm gonna run for president as an American, and it do kind of seem like it's just the family business, like politics is a family business. I kind of feel like that sometimes, but I mean, listening to his answer, things like, look, I look what I'm seeing what I see in this country, and I don't like it, and I would rather see somebody like that in office than somebody that has just been groomed for the seat of president their whole life. You know what I'm saying? Let a regular American get in that seat and actually look and see what's going on and see if we can make any changes that's gonna better the people in this country. Because look, I'm tired of looking at, first of all, I'm tired of old ass men running for president. Like, I know that they put an age cap because you need some life experience, but they need to put an age cap on this. Oh, Biden clearly got the goddamn dementia. Okay, I don't care what nobody say. In my personal opinion, Biden is not mentally capable to be sitting in the seat of POTUS. They ain't sitting up here playing with us. These people is too damn old. Technology is advancing too far too quickly for us to have ancient relics sitting up there in the seat of the POTUS. Okay, they got technology now. I don't even understand. Okay, by the time I get up in age, it's gonna be technology I ain't never heard of. Probably ain't gonna never know how to use. Okay, because it's advancing rapidly. Why we putting old people in seats and they out of touch with what the actuality of the ground is for the people that's gonna essentially be running the country? I'm sick of seeing it, tired of it. You ain't got no business 70, 80 years old talking about you running a country. No, too damn old. Stop. My personal opinion. I'm just saying. But I do like the fact that we looking at sound like somebody that says, thank you, ma'am. Ooh. See, that's why Professor Lovely Lady is the best moderator in the land. Do y'all see that? Yes, support your girl. Support my channel. Okay? Support my channel. Okay? Y'all, I feel like YouTube trying to censor me. Support your girl. You know, I try to bring y'all some sensible, reasonable content, you know. That's what I be trying to do. Support your girl. Thank you, Professor Lovely Lady. Hmm. He said, I got you, sis, said Miss Queen Sunkiss. I'm gonna be a cyborg. I help you with all the new stuff. Said me and Cat gonna be robots. Yeah, y'all can have y'all robot. I'm good. I don't want to be no robot. Mm. But it's kind of refreshing to hear, somebody speaking as, somebody that live in the country and like, what the hell's going on? Right? Let's see what else he had to say. This almost done, y'all.
In this country. When my uncle was president, 6% of American children had chronic disease. And I'm talking about obesity. I'm talking about neurological disease, ADD, ASD, autism, which has gone from 1 in 10,000 in my generation to 1 in every 34 kids today, 1 in every 22 boys. Tics, Tourette syndrome, narcolepsy, all of these diseases that suddenly appeared in 1989. That was the change year. All of these allergic diseases, peanut allergies suddenly. I had 11 siblings, 71st cousins. Nobody had an allergy. And yet 5 of my 7 kids have allergies. Anaphylactic. Why did that happen? Something happened in 1989 and nobody's studying it and nobody's talking about it. That our children today, all these autoimmune diseases suddenly appeared. Rheumatoid arthritis, juvenile diabetes, Crohn's disease, lupus, all of these exotic diseases that we never heard of before suddenly appeared in 1989. Why is nobody studying what happened? Why aren't we? And we know it's an environmental exposure. Genes do not cause epidemics. You have to have an environmental toxin. We're mass poisoning these kids. Obesity was at 6% or 13% when my uncle was president. 42% of our children have it. 75% are overweight. They didn't suddenly get lazy. They're being mass poisoned. And we need to find out what that is, what's causing that. We need to unravel the war machine. We need to, the war machine is happening because the intelligence agencies have been captured by the military-industrial complex. Who do you think the biggest funders of the Democratic and Republican Party are? Raytheon, General Dynamics, Northrop Grumman, Boeing, Lockheed, all the military contractors.
Y'all hear how he talking? Dad Bennett shot him. Dad Bennett took him out. Okay? He said, other than what they experimented on the blacks and natives, it's all the food at Cola. Oh, Cola in the building? What's going on, Cola? Thanks for coming in. Okay. He said, all of this mess. Everyone has some sickness and it's normalized. All right. Blordom, how you doing? Thanks for coming in. He said hillbillies would take him out. I don't know who gonna take him out, but all this stuff sitting up here, this stuff he's saying, this stuff will get him. He gonna be it. Look, it's the family cycle. That's all I can say.
Who make money from constant wars. So, I'm running because my party no longer represented me or my view of this country, my vision of this country, and it no longer represented the values that I grew up with. And I want to return our country to what it was supposed to be, to the exemplary democracy around the world. I want to rebuild the middle class in this country, the working poor. We've made a war on the poor in this country, a war on the working class, and I want to end that and start rebuilding the American middle class.
We need to go really quickly, so just.
Hello, everyone. And Mr. Kennedy, really quick. So I did let you know my name was Melrose Stacks, that you never heard about. And my take is in regards to media and censorship, right? So I did let you know I'm from Brooklyn. I am from Bedford-Stuyvesant. My grandmother is an assemblywoman. I just went home and performed at my block party, Bainbridge, between Malcolm X and Stuyvesant. Okay, and we get the most beautiful block in Brooklyn every year. I'm a music artist, and I'm at a time where there's one type of dynamic of what a female artist is that I do not fit into. And I want to know how we can have more women that look like me in those rooms when we decide what's the future looking like for a female artist, because we're all not willing to exploit ourselves or degrade ourselves. And they've already said earlier that hip hop is influential all over the world. So what do we do to restore the respect for the Black woman, to go forward for the girls that hear this type of music? I know it's freedom of speech, but how do we get to a point where we're progressive?
Not to cut you off, let's answer the question, because
Let me just go ahead and jump out into the. Let me just go ahead and be the ignorance in the room, okay? She fat, all right. She natural, okay. And here she come with the gender war topic. Like the government is supposed to fix the gender war nonsense. The government is not responsible for fixing the gender war nonsense. Okay, we can fix the gender war real quick, right? And you ladies, stop entertaining men that's disrespecting you and giving them attention, and we won't have to deal with this. That's it. Okay, so let's go. Oh wait, it say I got new comments. He said, would not be surprising to say the least. I would highlight our comments, but I don't want to lose Professor Lovely Lady's comment. You know what I'm talking about? So he said, Coach, they punching walls after seeing this video. He said, Coach said, if you men stop acting like animals. Okay. Okay. Coach, yes, you definitely can correct the men. Blur them said, and click the first one with the purple blue background. What? It said, can you look up sleep tracker mean? Okay, blur. Okay. You look really similar to a video. Okay, I don't know. How you doing? I don't know what you got going on. Okay, but boom, there we go. Let's get back to the thing. He said he better have, okay, he better have some security on him. Okay, because they gonna get him, whoever they is. I wish somebody tell me who they is. Do anybody know who they is? All right, let's go.
I know that Mr. Kennedy is that skilled in the music business. Although he laid a track today with Boosie and Turk and Drummer Boy. So y'all, Mr. Kennedy has his first rap song coming out soon. But I'm gonna answer that really quickly for Mr. Kennedy. How you do it is you continue to be you. You be that representation of the women that represent us, that aren't out here exploiting themselves. We need that type of diversity in our music. So shout out to you. Thanks so much. Shayla, who's the next person? Because we got to wrap up. Julia say we ain't got to go home, but we got to get up out of here.
Hi, my name is Gabby, and I am a alumni from the illustrious Clark Atlanta University. And I just have a question regarding HBCUs. So, what are you going to do to make sure that the HBCUs don't get any more funding cut?
I'm going to make sure they don't get any more funding because it's particularly important right now because of the Supreme Court decision in the Harvard case, which ends affirmative action. We got to make sure that the HBCUs are there to make sure that our Black children are getting the best possible education they can. And HBCUs have always fulfilled that critical role. And I love the HBCUs. I'm going to make sure they're adequately funded.
Well, guys, listen, we are most definitely going to do this again. I am so grateful for each and every one of you that came out tonight. I want to thank my panelists, but I also want to remind you that it is very important before you walk out that doorway.
Hey, my bad, y'all. Thank you for telling me. Thank you. Um, hold on. Here, take this because I don't even know what this goes to. If this goes to your laptop, take some cough syrup. And then take that upstairs. So that was the conversation. Okay, that was the conversation that the women had. And look, no shade to the men, but we got more of a productive conversation. We got more productive answers from this man as a presidential candidate when he talked to the women rather than he talked to the men. To think that the most pressing issue for black men in America is child support is crazy. Okay. And all these things they just talked about, gun violence and all of this stuff. And I know like around the relationship circles, or at least that's my twin. I know he looks just like me. Uh around these relationship circles and spaces, you know, they be saying certain things, but that was ridiculous. They had two men, okay, that asked questions about things like sustainable living, quality of life in America. Basically, you know, what they're gonna do about the economic condition and the erosion of the middle class, and everybody else was stuck up on child support. Like that's sad. That's sad. So shout out to Big J for informing me that he had a conversation with the women. We had a much better conversation. Now here we go. I I don't think I got no more to say about it. You know, he's not on the ballot. You know, so there's the link. If anybody want to come up and chit chat about it, you know what I'm saying. But shout out to Big J for letting me know that it was um a woman's conversation as well. You know, and I'm glad I went over there and watched it. I'm glad people was even talking about the men because if nobody had spoke of the men, I would not have known. You know what I'm saying? That um yes, I shared the link on my community wall, and when I get through with this video, I'm gonna put it in the description box. You know what I'm saying? The name of the channel is Blacks for Kennedy. You know, if y'all interested, but he is independent, and I don't think he on the ballot yet. So I mean, if y'all feel like he should be on the ballot, I kind of feel like he should be on the ballot. So I think I don't know. Y'all might see me endorse this man to a certain degree because I'm really tired of Democrat versus Republican. I'm tired of the two party system. It's ignorant. All them people up there in the federal government is it's corrupt. Our government is corrupt, in my personal opinion. It's been too much scratching of each other's backs and I, head nod. You give me this favor, I do you that. It's too much of that done went on. The whole thing just need to be just wiped and started over. It's just too much nonsense going on in my opinion. And I think that's why we keep seeing the country go backwards. So I would love to see another viable candidate up there. I would like to see Andrew Yang come throw his hat back up in the ring. You know what I'm saying? I know his last run was kind of disappointing, but I mean, a lot of people said that he was too progressive, but look at our technology. Okay? Look at our technology. Technology is moving really, really fast. We need people that can keep up with the technology. We don't need no more old farts sitting up there in the seat of POTUS. We do not. You know what I'm saying? We don't need nobody that's gonna keep sitting up here playing Democratic versus Republican. That's outdated. That's old. It's not working. That is that is so old and archaic and relic like. And then when they talk about things like racism in this country and ending it, you're not gonna end it with this two party system still being the most viable way that people process their government. It's not gonna happen. You ain't gonna end it with that. It's gonna have to be some major changes and shifts. And I do think that there can be some major changes and shifts without there being an erasure of the Constitution. I think that we can adapt and progress within the bounds of the Constitution. People just got to be open minded enough to realize that we can do more than Democrat and Republican. Okay. And I mean, I just feel like it's our duty as citizens to make other people understand it's more to this election than Joe Biden and Donald Trump. Okay. Like, come on. Joe Biden and Donald Trump is not the only options we have, and we already know who gonna win that. All right, we already know what time that is. Biden is largely unpopular, especially after that State of the Union address he just sat up there and gave and said absolutely nothing. You knew it was a whole bunch of nonsense and BS when the man got up there and the first topic he decided that he wanted to address was Ukraine. What? Bro, we have a fucking housing crisis in America. The inflation is crazy. Gas prices is sky high and they don't look like they regulate. They up, they drop. They up, they drop. Like you ain't addressed none of this stuff. You got up there and started talking about Ukraine. Sir, what? Yeah, so I don't see him being, and don't get me wrong, I think Trump did fairly well as a president. However, like I said, I'm tired of seeing these old dudes in office. I'm just sick of it. No, I do not want to see Kamala Harris in that turkey neck sitting in the seat of POTUS. No, ma'am. She can't even decide who she is. Okay, she don't even know what she is. We don't need that type of confusion. We got enough nonsense in the country already. We don't need that. Okay, but I would like to see his name on the ballot. For real, for real. I would like to see more people know who he is. That's why I put the um um the link in there. Who is this? Sarah, you definitely missed the message. Well, please inform me what the message is that I missed. Okay. She said, yeah, the other candidates aren't thinking that way. They not. They stuck in they they thing. Yeah, early dementia. Yeah, he got the dementia. Ain't nobody gonna tell me no different. I'm pretty certain. Me personally myself. Okay. They said we need about 40 to 62. Hell, I think 55 is old enough. After 55, you need to sit your head down somewhere. Okay. But I could stomach 62, excuse me. Nah. But yeah, I think the time for old presidents is over. Okay. It's technically um advanced society we live in. We need young blood. Simple as that. Simple as that. Like even out here at 40. Baby, compared to the stuff they got going on, our entrepreneurs are getting younger and younger and younger. It's so many children with businesses now because of the level of technology. So, I mean, come on now. They gonna have concerns too. They major play. They taxpayers. They taxpayers. Okay, they got their concerns too. You know, you need somebody that's gonna be able to relate on some level in some way. And I think, if we can't necessarily get that type of candidate this time, I think, if he was on the ballot, he at least be a step in that direction. So, the relationship spaces do get on my nerves, but shout out to the people that got good sense that helped me be able to go over there and do my little due diligence and see this conversation because I didn't know that he had talked to the women too. So shout out to Big J for letting me know that. And if y'all not subscribed to Big J, subscribe to Big J. Okay, we trying to keep Big J on YouTube. Big J been fighting people for too long. Yes, please donate to Miss, not Miss, Sir, MRS, Cat and Puncho. All right, and then go over there and Oh, you talking about mahogany? Yes, my baby do got a fundraiser she running at school. Okay, I haven't checked it to see how much she has gotten. The goal is 250. So I don't know how much she looked because I haven't looked. But yes, please donate to my baby. It's on the community wall, and so is this channel. He said right. He was trying to justify all that money for Ukraine instead. Yes, like. I don't think it's too many Americans at this point. I don't think it's too many Americans. I'm talking about working class citizens that keep the country running that is concerned about Ukraine. I mean, it was news when it was news, but then when it looked like it was just gonna be a long standing war between Ukraine and Russia, I don't think nobody gives a damn. I think that's their business, they'll figure it out. It was news and something for us to be concerned about when we thought Russia was just gonna go in there and dog walk them. We see that ain't the case where that's their business and what is going on over here with us and he ain't give us that. You know what I'm saying? He didn't give us that. Okay? Yes. Donate. Not you to look. Yeah, it registered. I had to remember. I was like, oh yeah, she do got that thing. So yeah, she got that. They teaching them CPR and all this other type of stuff. So y'all donate to my baby and help these schools, okay? That's another thing we can do as a people when we talking about these schools. When they have fundraisers and things like that, can participate. Participate. I can't tell you from states away. I done bought so many bags of popcorn and candy bars and all that stuff for these children because look, that stuff helps. That stuff goes to funding the type of education your child is going to get. You know what I'm saying? All that stuff is important. You're talking about how funds are allocated. A lot of those funds aren't allocated. A lot of those funds are supplemented. And they're supplemented by, fundraisers. They're supplemented by they have a formal dinner that they do every year to fundraise for the school. So like all that stuff is important. They say, oh, they give these particular group of people this, that, and the third. Maybe that group of people just happen to do what they do. They send the box tops in and all that type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Of course, property value and things like that go into, factoring in how much money goes into the schools in your neighborhood as well. How much taxes you pay, all of that stuff. But community involvement does matter. So, I'm just saying, y'all help my baby reach her goal for her fundraiser, please and thank you. And if you feel so kind as to be generous to her mother, then drop me $1 or two because they YouTube. is trying to censor a sister. Okay, they trying to censor me. Okay, I guess I don't act too much. I don't act enough of a monkey's ass for them, and so they don't want my content out. Okay, they don't want to pay me. Okay, so yeah, well, since nobody wants to click the link, come up and talk about what we just looked at, I'm almost done washing my dishes. So I'm gonna finish cleaning up my kitchen and I'm gonna take my little old self on to bed. I appreciate y'all for coming and hanging out and listening to this. I know this wasn't slap knee comedy and you know all of that. So I really do appreciate y'all being here and also typing in the chat and hanging out. I really do appreciate that. And again, let's throw a blessing on the members and the super chatters and the cash apples. Let's start with our supers and cash apples.
Thank you. We got a super chat, super sticker, super something.
And shout out to our members. We thank y'all for y'all support. The support help me keep motivated and helps with the overhead of bringing y'all this content because there is an overhead cost to do this. Okay, thank you.
What's up, boo? Blowing money powder on you. Thank you.
Alrighty, y'all. So let me check these three comments. He said, "I'm looking at the form now." He said, "I can arrange maxing funds." Okay, coach. I mean, you can do what you do. And we got to the 15th. You know what I'm saying? Got to the 15th. He said, I'm looking at the phone, man. Okay, you can DM me. That's cool. We have donated $60 million to Ukraine so far in the war. Imagine how much of that would have helped here. They don't never seem to want to take care of the people here. But, he said plenty about putting us to work, though. They said plenty about us plenty about putting us to work, but nothing really about pay for real. Okay, he said he was gonna do these things. I'm gonna give every American $400 to put toward their purchase of their new home every month. What? How? Explain. I don't know. Tell me. Okay, I don't know. It's kind of crazy. Okay, hold on, y'all. I guess I'll wait since there are more comments coming in. I'm gonna put these veggies in this bowl, right? Fella said, wow. She said, working for a little bit of nothing. I mean, I'm talking about everything you get is allocated somewhere. And it's looking like the gap between the have and the have not seem to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And it is absolutely crazy. It just don't make no sense. You know what I'm saying? Stuff just keep going up. And this is the crazy part, like our food prices. This is one thing I said, and I noticed I said, you know what? The crazy part about America is when these inflation things happen, the prices don't go down. They just become the new normal because these companies are big. And now it's getting to the point it's so ridiculous. You're looking at products and there is less product, there's less product inside of the product, but the price is higher. It's crazy. It's crazy. So I mean, I like the things that he said, and I did enjoy the fact that when he didn't have an answer or a particular solution, he listened to what other people had to say about it. You know what I'm saying? And that is, in my opinion, a government that's by the people and for the people. Not this weird, whatever this is we got going on right now, where we almost feel like you ain't got nothing to do with what they doing. It's kind of crazy. You know what I'm saying? Each of it. I did. I had half a plate of vegetables. I ate my veggies. See, what's to adjust work. Yep. So I appreciate it. I know I would like to see him on the ballot. So I'm gonna go over there and see if there's anything I can do to help get him put on the ballot. And then we ain't got to vote. the lessons of two evils. You know, we can have an actual choice. You know, because it's three. You know what I'm saying? It's three of them. And so, on that note, once again, thank y'all for showing up. Thank you, thank you to the members. Thank you for the cash app. I appreciate you all. I will. He said, "I'm just playing with you." I know. I see y'all tomorrow. I don't know what kind of content I'm gonna put up tomorrow, but it's gonna be something. I don't know. It might be another live stream because 9 times out of 10, they're gonna limit the monetization on this video as well. So, say la vie, right? Y'all stay dark and lovely. Oh, I spreading your love and light. I see all you wonderful people next time. Peace.
I see the Mr. Queen sunk is over here to drop a line. Drop her rhymes are over here to now. I know you get the time. Get the time and get it on it. And you doing what you do. And the people better know that they better not mess with you. Cause you feel so fast that smoke. People want to smoke it though. Let me tell you other people say, oh yeah, she ain't no joke. Get you up, get around, turn around, I step you down. Now you talking about the people, now they tipping in the ground. Oh, so did you hear the rhyme that I say? I see the Mr. Queen sunk is over here to drop a line. Drop her rhymes are over here to now. I know you get the time. Get the time and get it on it. And you doing what you do. And the people better know that they better not mess with you.